Now start.
Hello everyone, my name is Dhare Gupta, and first I would introduce you my teammates. First is Sahaj Dev, Aman Gupta, Aditya, Netra Sai, Sayed Adi, and Yukta. First, uh, before we begin the discussion, I would mention the circumstances which has led to the aforementioned scenario. The first case of the novel coronavirus, also called COVID-19, was recorded at the end of December 2019, and the first death was at January 2020, Wuhan, China. Many countries thought it was just another flu and considered it China's problem. But little by little, during March and April, it was evident that the virus was not to be taken lightly. So the countries like France, Germany, UK, and India opted for a total lockdown, but it has many other side effects like leaving the economies in shambles, and many businesses didn't have enough personnel to keep their business running. So as a start of the discussion, let's begin with China itself.
China was the first country to be affected by the deadly virus and the first one to recover from it. Before the pandemic, China's GDP growth rate in 2019 was 6.1% or $27.31 trillion, which is expected to go down to 2% in the year 2020. The numbers may seem disappointing, but are way better than the -4 to -5% GDP contraction expected in countries like USA and UK.
Okay, talking about the UK, I would say that UK being one of the largest economies until Feb 2020 did face a fate similar to what was in the other countries. When COVID-19 was declared as a pandemic by WHO, USA had one of the highest GDP levels, that is one of the highest GDP levels as compared to other countries. That was also a 50-year high. Further, unemployment rate was also very low at that point.
Like other countries, UK also was doing quite well before the COVID and were earning great from tourism. But due to pandemic, many sectors suffered huge losses. For example, the construction had the worst hit, which declined by around 45%.
As Saharsh was talking about tourism in UK, the same goes in Japan. The coronavirus outbreak is expected to cost $1.29 billion in revenue loss for Japanese tourism just in the first quarter of 2020. The number of tourists visiting Japan fell by 58.3% in February, the biggest decline in 9 years, due to the travel restrictions implemented by the government to prevent the spread of COVID 19. The decline in tourist numbers is expected to continue over the next few months as government imposes strict restrictions on entry of people from China and European countries to control the spread of the disease.
Speaking of Russia, Russia's GDP grew by 1.3% in 2019. That compares with an official expansion rate of 2.5% recorded in 2018 and is the weakest annual growth since Russia emerged from the economic crisis in 2016. Russia's exports include crude oil, petroleum products, natural gas, iron and steel, and other mining related exports, and imports include food, ground transports, etc. Russia's sales to Europe represent over 60% of the total exports, while Asia has an export share of roughly 30%. Russian exports to the United States, Africa, and Latin America combined represent less than 5% of the total shipments.
As well, the other countries were saying about how well they were performing before the COVID pandemic. India's GDP was already on a downward slope much before the COVID 19 pandemic hit, mainly because due to the demonetization and the implementation of goods and services tax, which paralyzed the cash dominated informal sector and small businesses. And according to a survey conducted by National Statistical Office, the unemployment rate was already 6.1% during the year 2017 to 18, and the COVID 19 pandemic brutally exposed and worsened the existing vulnerabilities in the Indian economy. And when the Prime Minister imposed a nationwide lockdown that remained in effect till May 31st, except for some essential services, all activities in India's 2.9 trillion economy remained shuttered, which caused a very threatening effect, and it also contracted the GDP by 23.9% in the April-June quarter of the year.
Okay, so after hearing all these points, one question comes up is what was the lockdown an essential part for dealing with this pandemic? I want to ask all of you. Anyone can start.
Well, in case of Japan, it did not affect it much, as it is a part of Japanese culture to wear masks and maintain utmost cleanliness during the routine life. So COVID-19 pandemic did not change much in the country. The only issue there no aggressive testing of people to determine whether a person is infected or not. Japan, the world's third biggest economy, has been able to do only 7,800 tests per day, far lower than US, which carries out about 150,000 tests per day. The limited number of tests has raised concern about the accuracy of Japanese government total case numbers. Even the 2020 Summer Olympics were originally scheduled to start in July 2020, but were postponed due to COVID-19 fears. The IOC had earlier said that they will not delay the games beyond 2021.
Talking about the lockdown in Russia, it imposed a 6 week lockdown during the early stages of COVID 19 that caused manufacturing output to shrink by the largest amount on record and hit domestic demand hard. While at the same time, the price of oil, which is its key export, plunged 40%. The Kremlin moved to lift the national lockdown in mid May, but many parts of the country are still operating under restrictions, while some industries are yet to fully return to normal. Unemployment increased to 6.1% in May 2020, up from 4.5% a year earlier, an increase of around 1.1 million people. The number of registered unemployed increased even more by 1.4 million people and reached 2.3 million people in May 2020.
Okay, so unlike Russia, going to the other part of the globe, we can see that as of October 23rd in 2020, the GDP of Brazil was forecasted to decrease by 4.81%, but an improvement comparison, which was an improvement to the comparison of the 6.5% by the end of June. This figure remains stable at 2.3% until 6 weeks, but now has decreased until June 2012.
Okay, hearing about Brazil, Japan, and Russia, it seems like without lockdown, the countries were able to like save their economies from being destroyed. However, this wasn't the case in US. Even after strict lockdowns, the economy faced devastating effects. For example, the GDP rate or GDP level of the country fell by 14.7%. That is a really huge number. Further, the unemployment rate also fell by 8 to 9% in these 2 to 3 months. The economy really faced a devastating effect even after such a strict lockdown.
As Aditya said about GDP in UK, too, GDP was 105 before COVID, but then it dropped to lowest to 78.5 on April 20.
Okay, so I'm very saddened to hear these numbers, but one more question I will ask is, what were the effect on the different sectors of the economy? Did this pandemic affect the lives of people? What were the consequences?
Well, particularly in case of Japan, one of the main factors behind the slump was a severe decrease in domestic consumption, which accounts for more than half of the Japanese economy. Exports have also fallen sharply as global trade is hit by the pandemic. Coronavirus is expected to further limit the Japanese economic growth prospects in 2020, at least in the first quarter. The government is planning to announce a stimulus package worth approximately 10% of country's annual economic output of 56 trillion yen to handle the impact caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Europe, which is Japan's biggest trade partner, has operations dependent on supply chains in the coronavirus affected countries. Impact on such companies would have a ripple effect on Japanese trade with Europe as well.
As Aman said about the trade of Japanese with Europe in UK, also trade services had a severe impact due to the COVID-19 and saw the largest fall in exports and imports in April, falling to 18.1 billion euros, that is 31.4%. And the UK is set to lose up to 22 billion pounds in tourism revenues this year because of the coronavirus pandemic. Spending by visitors from overseas could fall by as much as 78%, equivalent to 60 million pounds a day.
Speaking of China, the outbreak of COVID 19 not only threatened people's lives and safety, but also had a significant impact on China's economic development in the year. Food and beverage, retail, real estate, and travel were the four biggest losers. A lot of people in these sectors have either been furloughed for a period of time or have lost their jobs completely. Export, being the backbone of China's economy, suffered a major setback as other countries halted their imports from China in fear of the virus. The unemployment rate in February skyrocketed to 6.2%, the highest on record, leading to around 5 million people losing their jobs. Even a lot of companies had gone bankrupt due to loss of funds and investments.
Yes, so unlike other countries, Brazil barely had a lockdown and kept certain sectors of the economy open. The continued spread of the virus had devastated effects on Brazil's economic recovery, but they only had the assistance like assistance and lax restrictions on taxes.
Yeah, on the contrary, India had a very strict lockdown, and this need for non-essential goods had declined drastically due to the rising unemployment and worries like job losses in the future. As a large number of micro and small enterprises have started shutting their businesses down, many jobs will be lost permanently. And also the government revenue have been severely affected due with this tax collection going down. And as a result, the government have been trying to find ways for reducing its cost. And when the lockdown was imposed, almost 10 million of migrant workers returned to their native places, and some sectors were not much affected, like the IT sector. They were able to cut costs in the form of electricity bills and broadband bills, while the tourism sector was completely down.
Is similar to India, even US saw much devastation in different kinds of economic sectors. The major sectors were those which were labor intensive. For example, education, healthcare, tourism, etc. Though healthcare did see some good, though healthcare was good due to the COVID part, even though the labor intensive economic sectors did go down, the major sectors that were hit were tourism, and education, basically.
Russia was also affected due to this pandemic. So, global industrial production suffered its steepest fall since the global financial crisis. Prices for crude oil, Russia's largest export, have plummeted by an unprecedented 8% in 2020. Russia is heading towards a recession, with negative growth in most sectors in 2020. Manufacturing contracted 10%, with severe negative impacts in metal production and transport vehicles. Mineral resource extraction decreased by 3.2%. As in many countries, people's standard of living in Russia are being significantly affected, including schooling, health services, and mobility. People engaged in the retail, tourism, hospitality, and entertainment industries are most affected in the short run due to the lockdown measures and their limited ability to work online. Meanwhile, in mid September, the government approved the 2021 to 2023 budget, which includes cutting military spending in favor of social spending, increasing borrowing, and raising taxes on mining companies and high earners.
Okay, so we can safely say that the virus has affected economies on a local and a global scale. Many countries are facing serious challenges. So how do they plan to regain control and stabilize right now? What do you guys think will happen?
Well, speaking on that topic, China is already on the path of recovery as of its economy, being the first country affected by the virus and the first to substantially control the spread of it, and therefore got a head start in reviving its economy. In the second quarterly report, the only major country which had a positive growth was China, with a GDP growth of 3.2%, while other nations are left with negative GDP figures. It became one of the first nations to observe a V shaped recovery, while other nations are still fighting to prevent a second wave of the pandemic.
Yeah, when we talk about the V-shaped recovery, which is totally unlikely to occur in India because, yeah, maybe we have seen a few indicators like power consumptions, passenger vehicles, e-vehicles, which show signs of revival in India, but a V-shaped recovery is totally impossible. And as you know, India was already facing an economic crisis even before the COVID pandemic. So the economics say that it is nearly Like India has to try hard to overcome this crisis.
As Netra was talking about the V-shaped recovery, in case of Japan, the country is unlikely to return to pre-pandemic growth until 2024. And that's assuming a baseline scenario where a lot of things goes right. The Olympic Games proceed, the pandemic crisis abates this year, and travel gradually returns to some semblance of normal. Even then, the coronavirus will have left that will constrain scars that will constrain the economy well into the 2030s.
Like other countries are trying to recover, the UK also is trying, and there have been various schemes such as job retention scheme, kickstart scheme, etc. for recovery. But still the UK government is yet to announce a full recovery plan. There is also a self-employed income support scheme to help individuals. So in short, the UK government is trying its level best to compensate the loss due to the pandemic.
Okay, many countries that we see have either schemes or some data that can help to speculate how the economies will go in the future. However, in case of the US economy, the presidential elections stop us from getting to expect what would happen in the future. If the elections are won by Donald Trump, there is a chance that economy boosts up and there is better economic growth in the future. However, if the elections go towards Joe Biden, there is more chance that he would be looking towards public welfare and not the economy. So it might take more time for the economy to stabilize.
I think the Russian economy will also take time to gradually recover. The process of recovery will be gradual. The Russian economy is set to emerge from the coronavirus crisis on the same slow and steady trajectory it has settled on heading into it.
Okay, so we can see that the many governments have many different kinds of plan and they're trying their best. We just hope that the countries that come up with solution and they can get their economies back on track. But in the recent months, we have seen in Russia that it has created its vaccine called Sputnik 5. And it is after its public testing phase is over. But we are yet to see the outcome of what it can do to control the spread, as well as what side effects can be noticed. Many people, especially in the West, has serious concerns over the vaccine because it is Russia and but in the end, I would like to conclude that in this discussion that we are yet to see what the future months bring and what challenges we have yet to solve. In the meantime, I would say that everyone should keep safe and we will get through this together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.